Say what's the she won't be.
Got the influential woman side. My wife's like,
You know.
let me see what else I need.
Nah, it's saying it's live.
Cool. All right, live on TikTok. So everything but Twitch then. Welcome back this morning. We're looking at an MVP case that just got flipped on its head by one of the most influential voters in the game. We're also debating the top 75 legend and Dame Lillard, who may or may not actually belong in the Hall of Fame. I guess we'll see today. We're also witnessing some history in Denver and watching a college star bet on herself um, over NBA or WNBA payday. Before we even dive into anything, again, like I always say, I got the best panel in the industry. Starting from my left, we got Hev. How you been?
Good morning. I've been great.
Good morning. Good morning, Chris Lucy.
Yo, the audacity in the morning. Let's get it.
Hey now, Beige Bandit Aaron Miller.
What up?
And of course, I'm your host, Darion. Let's jump right into it. So MVP Jaylen Brown. ESPN Michael Wilburn revealed that his current MVP ballot goes Jaylen Brown number 1, SGA number 2, Wemby number 3, but explicitly excluded Luka Doncic, saying, "Don't talk to me about a guy who plays half of the court." So obviously his defensive efforts been in a lot of narratives this year. So with Jaylen Brown at the top of his ballot, by also essentially calling Luka a defensive liability, is Wilburn right to prioritize the two-way impact, especially in a race like this? I mean, ignoring historical 34-point triple-double this season that Luka had. He's had, 50? Has he touched 60 this season yet?
Yeah, he touched it against Miami.
60. Yes. I mean, his scoring has definitely been on display, but is just scoring a tired narrative when it comes to MVP, guys?
No, because the MVP is based off your offense. But I get what he's saying. I'm not saying he's wrong for having Jaylen Brown number 1. I get it. But at the same time, it just confirms what I said previously, that even though Luka should take away the defensive narratives and the complaining to the refs away that was lingering the bulk of the season for Luka and the Lakers. Those narratives aren't there. He's winning MVP this year, but because they're there, I knew that was going to be the reason voters were going to use to not give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I said SGA is just the safest pick, right? I mean, but right now Luke is number 2 in terms of odds, so I mean he's right where he should be, even though technically, across the board, he averages more points to SGA, more rebounds, more assists. But lately, I don't like them still using that narrative about the defense, because right now he's top 10 in steals per game. I just looked at the list. It's Maxey 1, Wallace 2, Kawhi 3, Asar Thompson 4, Dice Daniels 5, OG 6, Luka 7, Chris Dunn 8, Trey Murphy 9, 10, Donovan Mitchell. And the 2 he has above him, the 3 that he has above them, who are considered two-way players, ain't in the top 10 in steals. Obviously, one's number 1 in blocks, but the other 2 guards, who you view as two-way players and, defensive stoppers, hey, I'm just saying, don't pick a narrative and use it when you want to do it. Use it across the board. Now, I'm not saying steals per game is the measuring stick for a defensive player. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but that is how we judge guards on whether or not they are actual defenders.
Yeah. But do you think that number specifically tells the whole story about how the defense is actually being played? You don't think that's maybe right moment, right time, or shit that's just happening when offense breaks down? And yeah, it's just a stat that happens to be in his favor during those moments. But he's still not necessarily actually playing defense.
No, we're not going to do that, because I heard Chris say previously that when AI won MVP, the knock on him was he was also a liability on defense, but he also led the league in steals. Why? Because he was getting a bunch of off ball. He was shooting the gaps and whatnot. So let's not. If that's how Luka's getting his steals, so what? He's getting them. So that's why I'm saying they're using the narrative when they want to use it, so it can fit their criteria of what they think an MVP should be.
I feel you. I do. I mean, shit. I've defended that shit against Chris, against everybody. I've defended Luka all year in terms of MVP because I think what he's doing is historic, right? I don't think we can ignore that or put less weight on it. But I too do think that. I mean, I'm a defensive guy. MVP shouldn't just only be about offense, kind of like you started that sentence, right? Because we're talking about like the most valuable player. So that has to include how you impact the game on both ends of the court, in my opinion, right? Not just about how much you produce. So I don't think it's about discrediting Luka in this case, right? But I think it's more or less about asking like, what is the total impact, and then if that total impact should outweigh like elite production. And that's where I think I mean, I wish Jokic would qualify this year, right? He's not going to qualify because I really think it should go to him. But I think right behind him, I'm with you, bro. I think Lucas should be there.
I mean, his total impact says I'm the best offensive player in this league, and I'm not too bad of a defender right now. Obviously, the season before that, like the beginning, yeah, it was awful. I totally agree with those people that said he's not showing effort.
Yeah.
Plays to the refs too much. But since the All-Star break, he's done a complete 180 of all that.
Let me have get in here a little bit. Have what you got on this topic.
I think that the narrative around MVP started to change when they didn't want to give it to LeBron every single year. I'm never going to let that down. So now that we're here at that point, the MVP should be Luka by the standards people have set the past 10 plus years. If you wanted to go the real definition of MVP, then it is Jaylen Brown. But since we have set the standard that we don't care about what it means to me, what it means to be the most valuable player to a team, then give it to Luka. It's not that hard. It's not that hard of a conversation. Give it to Luka. But if you want to go back and erase what you started to do in like 2007, 2008, then it's Jaylen Brown.
Well, I think I'm in almost 100% agreement with Have, just with a little bit of adjustment. You're right. It did not start with LeBron. There was a period that I agree wholeheartedly. They didn't want to keep giving it to LeBron. But I believe that period started beforehand, years ago, way, way back in the beginning. We won't go down to Magic and Larry Bird and guys like that. But we will talk about Kobe and Shaq. When you started creating this narrative of the most valuable player, which the reward can be for, not the best player, but the most valuable player for the team, I think that was highlighted when they gave 2 of the awards to Steve Nash. So if you give the MVP to Steve Nash twice in a league that not only has Shaq and Kobe, but an enormous amount of other great talent in the league that are better talent than Steve. Steve Nash has never been the best player in the league ever in his life, period.
Right.
So that narrative was on, hey, he was the most valuable for his team. So if you're going the most valuable player for their team, undisputed is Jaylen Brown. I mean, you could have went with Cade from the standpoint of the Pistons, but Cade still had another all-star on his team. Jaylen has done it with no all-stars. So period, by far, he is the most valuable player for his team. Luka, I'm with the Luka narrative. It's cool. Luka's just not the most MVP. To me, there's no category where Luka is the MVP in the NBA. I don't think he's the most dominant player. I don't think he's the most dominant. He doesn't affect the game on both sides, so he's not the most dominant. He is the best scorer in the game, but he's not the most dominant player. I think that's when you go with Wemby. I think Wemby affects the game the most on both sides. I believe he's the most dominant figure in the game today. I still think SGA or that big fella down in Denver are probably the most talented in the game, but I think Jaylen has had the most valuable season. Luka, to me, is definitely just having the best scoring season. That's my take.
I got a question to that then, because a lot of people think that way, and fine. I kind of agree. I'm not comparing it to the season that James Harden had. I'm not going to say that. But we did prioritize scoring for that MVP. So what would be the difference in giving it to Luka?
You're right. It shifts. It changes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and Aaron mentioned about AI. I believe AI was the most dominant figure at that time when he was MVP. And he was, he was a scoring champ, if you will. And it can easily go to the scoring champ. Michael Jordan was a scoring champ multiple years. Dominique Wilkins was scoring champ, never got MVP. But I'm saying the narrative changes, right? It's all of the voters change. The voters are not the same voters historically from year to year voting on this topic. And so I do believe there should be language, criteria in the voting so that you can, I don't know, either get the same results or similar results that you desire, or maybe the criteria is just open because they want it to be random and wanted to be, they want some controversy involved. I mean, we've only had Steph ever as the undisputed most valuable player in the league. So I think there's a little bit of controversy every year, and they'll continue to be. But I think the language, if they put out language on what they desire, the MVP voting to be, and it may exist, I could just be wrong, but I think that it's probably the most important thing if we want consistency in that space.
I think with Jayson Tatum coming back, they're going to use that to not even give it to Jaylen.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Be like, well, yeah,
Absolutely.
you carried your team to number 2 in the East, and possibly at the end of the season they'll probably be number 1. But you got Tatum back,
Right?
and with Tatum being back, Jaylen's numbers do go down just a little bit because obviously Tatum is going to take away some of those rebounds and assists that Jaylen was getting.
For sure.
So they're going to use that against them. It's just it sucks because it's like, damn, it's like I had a case for MVP for 75% of the season, and then as soon as my running mate comes back, now you guys are using that against me. No. What? Pay attention to the 75% I was doing. Don't be holding that against me because my beige bandit came back. Like, that's not fair.
Facts.
I mean, they didn't even want to give it to him when he wasn't there. He still wasn't even like top. What was he like? Top 4? I don't even think he was cracking top 3 till later on. But I don't know. They act like people got to do it on their own. SGA got some running mates with him. Cade got a left hand man. Luka got 2 on the side of him. Jokic got Jamal Murray. Like, why? It's not like Jayson Tatum is having identical numbers now that he's back. Like, it shouldn't really affect it, but that's how it goes. I also don't like, I don't understand what's up with people talking so much in the media. Why would you come out and say that? I don't like that. I don't know.
The moment you got to start campaigning for yourself to be the MVP is the moment you should know I'm not getting it. Because SGA is not being asked questions about the MVP, nor does he feel like he has to make his case for the MVP. His play is speaking for itself. I can't recall any question Luka's been asked about the MVP. Why? Because his play is speaking for itself. So the moment Wemby and Jaylen Brown did that, I was like, yeah, you guys ain't winning it. You guys ain't winning it. The fact that you have to argue for yourself shows that like they're not even entertaining the idea of handing you that trophy.
Well, so, and I think, and this is where I'll give a little pushback on that because we're in a world, right, where, I mean, everything's changing, right? And right now, like the conversation and narrative around MVP, I mean, it's always been up in the air and everyone has an opinion about it. So why not have or spark conversations like this where we have to start shedding more light on what the fuck the MVP actually is? Why sit in silence if you really feel like you do deserve that? I understand there's a level of like humility and just let your play elevate and take you where you need to be. But if it's flawed, then I think players, and especially someone as intelligent and as vocal as Jaylen Brown has been in his time in the league, I think that helps start a conversation shift in terms of let's put some real criteria behind this so that players that do deserve it get it.
Your team should be doing that for you, not you as the player should be arguing for yourself. All right. Your team should be.
I don't think you should. No, I don't think you should ever let
listen
someone else handle a
Listen
conversation.
what I'm saying. You're not your team in terms of like the organization. I'm talking about the media. Your team's media should be making the case for you, pushing your name out there like crazy. Like, this is why this guy deserves MVP. Jaylen Brown's in Boston. That is a big media market. Are they pushing him and arguing for him to be the MVP? No, they're not. San Antonio's media, are they pushing for their guy Wemby to be the MVP? As Chris said, as the dominant player that he is, probably the most dominant guy in the NBA? No, they're not doing that. So the moment you have to campaign for yourself to get people to vote for you, like you're running for the goddamn president, you not winning, bro.
Hey,
Take a look at all the MVPs that have ever won it. Did they have to argue for themselves? No. Because why? Their game spoke for themselves, as well as the media behind them, their team, whatever city they was in, was pushing for them. They didn't have to speak. They knew they was good.
So then that should be as clear cut for us as well then? So we shouldn't argue that Jaylen Brown should be MVP then?
No. I'm not saying he shouldn't be MVP. I'm saying this. He deserves it. But I'm upset at Boston media for not fighting harder for him.
But you just said he doesn't deserve it. If you have
No,
to campaign for you, if you have to campaign for yourself, you're not going to get it, right?
Yeah. He does. I didn't say he doesn't deserve it. I said the moment you don't, I said the moment you have to speak on it is the moment you're not going to win it. He does deserve it, but I'm upset that Boston media, as big as it is, did not push harder for him.
I'm going to just say one thing about that. Aaron is right with the team concept. Think of this. Every team pushes in the media, when you come to the game to have literature and things of that nature, they market their players for the all-star voting, right? Mm-hmm. It's a big thing. You come there, they got an area for you to drop it used to be you could drop a vote in the ballot. You know, they have a QR code for you to scan, vote for our top guys. So they market them already for the all-star game. Why is it different for MVP voting?
Like when KD won it, did he have to argue for himself? No. When Russ won it, did he have to argue for himself? No.
Yeah, but
James
again,
Harden,
those guys were
Steph, no.
Clear-cut MVPs, though. Like clear-cut. Like if we didn't have the 65-game rule, the clear-cut would have been who? Jokic and SGA?
If it wasn't a 65-game rule, it would be fucking Jokic.
Yeah. So the guys you mentioned, those are clear-cut MVPs. Jaylen Brown wasn't a clear-cut MVP until the 65-game kind of took away some people, right?
The 65-game rule is not going to impact him winning it. He's going to meet the required amount of games. He's already reached it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's saying that the 65-game rule removed other candidates that elevated Jaylen and others to have a chance at winning.
Yeah. I mean, what candidates did it remove besides Cade?
Jokic, right?
Jokic.
No, Jokic can still afford to miss 2 more games.
Oh, he's still in running? Oh,
he's
then
still
Jokic is my MVP then. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't eligible.
Yeah, I thought he was out.
No, he can still afford to miss 2 more games, but he's low on the Vegas odds in terms of winning it. It goes SGA 1, Luka 2, Wemby 3. That's what Vegas is predicting. So if that's what fucking Vegas is saying, then I'm gonna go with fucking Vegas. Right?
Vegas is saying what?
Vegas. These are the MVP odds right now. SGA is 1, Luka is 2, Wemby is 3. And the gap between Luka and Wemby is fucking huge. So I don't know why he thinks he deserves it, because there's a reason why Vegas don't lose money, y'all. So, brother,
he's doing a good job. That's great marketing. I think you should push. You know what I mean? I think you should, because it's like there was a saying growing up: nice guys finish last, right? Mm-hmm. If you just sit over there in the corner and you be nice and chill and all that, then yeah, he's all right. He's cool. I think you got to be bold. LeBron was looked at different when he stood up and said, I'm the greatest player in the world. More haters came out. A bunch of people were at his throat, but then you had a shit ton of people like, yeah, I'm with that. So I think these guys have to market themselves. They have to be bold. In today's climate, you have to speak out and bring the attention towards you if you're not getting it. Embiid did that, got an MVP. I was with Embiid. I was like, how come we just Jokic? I'm one that I don't know. Like if you're going to be consistently MVP, then you got to be winning championships for me. You know what I mean? Which is why I always talk about the Shaq and Kobe narrative. You know what I mean? They won championships. So for me, the MVP really should be more than the regular season. They shouldn't name it until at the end of the year, in my opinion. But you got to be winning. I think winning is, if not the most important part of this, of the voting, winning, the effect of winning. And then are you dominating your peers? So I don't know. I mean, but again, I think you definitely need to market. I love the fact that Jaylen has done that. I love the fact that Wemby has done that, because if they don't, it's like the All-Star voting. Fans just continuously vote for their favorite player, whether that person is having a great season or not, which is why the commissioner has to come in and make adjustments, because otherwise it would just be the same names over and over and over again. So I think that's important.
Who the hell is Shavante?
Shavante, that's what they're calling Shay, because he's too smooth. He's Shavante now. Nah, Chris, yeah, thank you for articulating that the exact way that I wanted to. Again, we can't ask players to really compete at the highest level and then expect them to stay quiet when they feel their value is in question, right? They don't do that with contract negotiations, and I don't think they should do that with awards, as long as it's backed up by performance, right? I don't see an issue with it either.
Yeah, I mean, they did do those 2 years in a row where they waited till like the season was completely over and did that NBA award show to hand out the awards, and I was like, man, this sucks. I want to know. I'm not trying to wait till after the finals to find out if my nigga won it. Like, I want to know now. If by the start of the second round, I need to know. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's curious though. You saying that Jokic is still in it and his name is not on this board anymore. That's why we got to look into that.
I just don't get the SGA thing.
What do you mean?
I don't want to sound like I don't get it. I don't get the campaign for him from the fans, from the media. It's like forced SGA.
I know Chris is gonna chime on this. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, I want to chime on it.
Yeah,
good. Let's go with this here. So, all right. So Jokic is again incredible numbers again, right? Jokic, his numbers over the last 6 to 8 years have pretty much been consistent, similar, and then a little bit more rebounds, a little bit more. So, what has adjusted or changed in the Jokic? Jokic is, to me, incredibly good at getting numbers, right? He's a Swiss Army knife. He get a lot of numbers, right? Their whole team runs through him. It's a big bringing the ball up. You know what I mean? Dribbling, half speed, passing, and everybody's cutting and moving based off that. So to me, some numbers that he get are kind of forced, right? It's like, I even believe if you play with LeBron in particular areas when he was playing at his highest level, certain numbers are forced because they're going to make sure LeBron has the ball in his hand. You've had some players come on, J.R. Smith and others, and talk about how difficult it is playing with LeBron, because when he passes it to you, you got a split second. You have to shoot it right then. There's no time for creativity and things of that nature. So going with that, if Jokic's numbers have been incredible all of these years, what separates his MVP years from the years that he doesn't have it, right? So for me, I believe that Shai has had, at least that last year before Shai won the MVP, the year prior they gave it to Jokic, to me, Shai was the best player. He was the most dominant player in the league. And his team was much younger, right? We called his guys running mates then, but they were not at the level that they're at now. He was literally leading the charge. He changed the entire narrative in OKC, and he had them above Denver. You know what I mean? Even when they went in there and kicked their ass. But Shai didn't get the MVP. Right, it went back to Jokic, and so in my opinion, it was that narrative, like, well, shit, Jokic did it. Yeah, Jokic is, until you take the crown from Jokic, he's the MVP. I believe the voters. I'm not saying that's where I'm at. I believe the voters get to that point where it's like, if you're the guy, you have to take the MVP from him. Otherwise, you don't deserve it. So we're talking about a guy that's coming off winning the championship and having another incredibly successful season. Team is having great success. Jokic's numbers are better, but where are they, in fourth or fifth?
Yeah, fourth.
Right. What are you doing to surpass me or take the crown from me? That would be my take on it. Not saying that I'm 100% in agreement with it, but I'm not mad at that narrative.
Okay, yeah. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So narrative shift here. If Jaylen Brown actually by some margin were able to win an MVP case this year, does that permanently change the criteria for the award? Or is that just a case of, again, voter fatigue, like Aaron has talked about with traditional stat leaders?
No, there is no criteria. Like there just isn't. I think I've gathered that everybody kind of agrees with that from everybody's points. There's no set criteria requirements for MVP. So no, I don't think it changes it. It might just be the truest pick to the word MVP, and that's just a little different from the previous years. So that's what I think.
Aaron, you want to address that?
What, the 13 or 14? Hey, man. Hey, sometimes you gotta talk a little shit to get a nigga to play. All right.
Is that so?
So sometimes you gotta talk a little shit to get a nigga to play better. All right. It's called psychology. All right?
Psychology. Okay.
After you slandered him, that's pretty good. Like, way to hold us accountable on our takes. I ain't mad at that. That's what's up.
Well, speaking of criteria that Hev mentioned earlier, on his latest podcast, Patrick Beverley said, "Hell no" to Damian Lillard being a Hall of Famer. He argued that the Hall is too easy to get into and that scoring points on okay teams, referencing Dame's Portland years, shouldn't be enough without a championship. Pat Bev says Dame isn't a Hall of Famer without a ring to show for it. Does a top 75 legacy in some of the greatest clutch moments in history get overruled by a lack of hardware?
I just have a question. Who asked him this? Like, who went on the podcast and was like, "Yo, what you think about Damian?" Like, why did they do that? But go ahead.
They was teammates in Milwaukee, so that's why I was surprised he said this. Even if it was
also,
like half
It's
a
Pat.
season.
It's Pat
Caveat,
Bev.
we also do plan to have him on the pod next week.
Pat Bev?
Correct.
Oh,
That's kind of surprising.
He's gonna say some things.
Keep going.
Keep going. I know, Hev, I need you to keep that same energy you had before.
Yeah.
Before
I want to hear you. I'll come with my stuff. I want to hear you because I was caught off guard. I thought we were on the same page. No, we weren't the whole time. So I want to hear yours.
All right. So do I think Damian Lillard is a Hall of Famer? Yes. Because, like I said before we went live, if you go to it's called the Basketball Hall of Fame. So it takes into account everything you've done from high school on, right? Now, I don't know what Dame did in high school and his college years. Like, they weren't talked about like that in the realm of like a Steph or anything, or a JJ Redick, if you will. But if you go to the actual Basketball Hall of Fame up in Springfield, Massachusetts, you're going to see dudes in there where you're like, who the fuck is this? That's why I always say, like, if this motherfucker can be in the Hall, then for damn sure Dame Lillard can be in the Hall of Fame. All right? Top 75 player and whatnot. Because if he doesn't get in, like it's like you said, there's no criteria for the Hall of Fame. Made that comment. It changes every single year. So I think Dame will be a Hall of Famer. Maybe not first ballot, but he'll be a Hall of Famer for sure.
So my question for you guys off that head before you go is, Aaron, if we're always comparing future guys that have a chance to get in versus the guys that have already been in there, and we always make jokes and complain about it not even being a gold standard Hall of Fame anymore, at what point do we stop making that decision to put guys in based on who's already in there and start looking at, okay, let's compare them to what the standard actually should be? When do we make that shift so that better guys are getting in?
The Hall of Fame community is to sit down and make a criteria then. and just be like, and can't just go off who's already in there. We need to be like, all right, we need to change this because it's getting out of hand of who we're letting in. We need to have a serious conversation and a sit down and be like, let's look at what they did from a basketball standpoint from high school up until they ended their pro career. All right. And we're just going to lay it out. What did they do as an individual? All right. Because if you think about it, everybody likes to say like, oh, the championship thing and like how many rings does he have? I hate to break it to you, y'all. There's a lot of dudes in the Hall of Fame that ain't got rings. It's not based on team accolades as much as you think it is. It's about the individual themselves, their individual numbers. All right, there's plenty of dudes like I gotta bring his name up. Carmelo Anthony is not in the Hall of Fame because he's the NBA champion. He's in there for his individual offensive ability. AI is the same. James Harden might be the same eventually. All right, there's a lot of dudes in the NBA that are in there, not
Chris.
for their championship credibility.
This one right here, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, that's your guy.
That's your guy.
I'm not going to speak on T-Mac.
Damn. T-Mac's my guy. I mean, I think the Hall has to be about, there's a lot of elements to the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, right? It's basketball, it's a sport. Basketball is entertaining. It's entertainment, and it's about being entertaining. Dunk contest champions. Should that be excluded from the Hall of Fame? Is that not a luxury or a caveat? 3-point contest, what you did in all-star games, things of that nature. What did you do for the culture? I think it's more than just he won this many, he won this many, he won this many, he got this many championships. That I think it has to be more than that. Ironically, my mom is in the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame. She's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame because there was a group, the Campbell Soup Moms, right?
Oh.
My mom was one of the Campbell Soup Moms when my brother was playing in the NFL for the Green Bay Packers. So they have a whole section, if you will, for all the moms that were part of the Campbell Soup Moms. So similar to Pro Football Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame is more than just every player that won the most games, won the most championships, and had the most success. And I think it should be. I think it needs to. If you're coming there 300 years from now, if you had something crazy, which I don't want to speak into existence, but if you watch all these little movies and bombs happening, life was different, and no more books and no more stuff. Somebody walked into the Hall of Fame and they were trying to figure out the history of it. They would just be like, oh, okay, a list of everybody won. If it's like that criteria. But if you have, man, they had dunks, they had the Harlem Globetrotters, they're in the Hall of Fame, right? You have different areas of basketball that contributed to the success of the game going global. And I think that that's the only way that you can represent, the sport, by honoring everybody that contributed. So in regards to Dame, I guess maybe my answer, he's in top 75.
Yeah, he's a nine-time NBA All-Star, 7-time All-NBA selection, Rookie of the Year, 3-time three-point contest champion. Right now, he has 22,500 points. That ranks him in the top 30. He currently ranks 4th all-time in career three-pointers made. He's part of the 71-point club. Obviously, he's had his iconic playoff moments. He does have a gold medal, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Like, if you're saying that's not Hall of Fame, then then what is?
Yeah, no, it's Hall of Fame.
Because the biggest Hall of Fame question is when Derrick Rose is going to be up. That's going to be the bigger argument.
But we talked about this. I don't think it should.
No, it's not.
No, I'm saying not. I say Derrick Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying he shouldn't be. I'm saying critics, big critics, all right, the consensus, the masses are going to be like, why does I guarantee there's going to be a question, there's going to be an argument of why is Derrick Rose going into the Hall of Fame?
What?
I guarantee it always happens, and it is. So later down the road when he's eligible, I'm going to come back to y'all and say, I told y'all they was going to bitch and moan about it. I told y'all. There's always somebody that's going to bitch and moan about it.
I don't know. You should have swapped Dame out and put Howard in the 75. Top 75.
Yeah, that I wholeheartedly. I don't think
Uh,
Anthony Davis should be in
AD, I
there.
was gonna say AD shouldn't.
like that's why we talking about the top 75. Whoever created that list, I don't know who created it, and I don't know why we hold it to such high
Oh my
regard that
gosh.
if you top 75.
Told you. I told you.
No, bro.
How
Come
old?
I
on.
mean,
Nah,
never
you
wait
you gotta ask how
idea.
old they are. You gotta ask how old these people are. I'm not trying, but like
I'm not gonna argue him. I see the peach guy with the blonde hair. That's
Im-
You said who?
No, and somebody give it. Please educate him real quick. I don't like to entertain it, but please.
no, that's not like. Are you? If you're 15, you don't think Rose is a Hall of Famer. If you in your like early 10, if you 10 years old, you don't think Rose. You know what I'm saying? You gotta ask how old these people are who say things like this. You just gotta. How old are you? You don't gotta entertain it at all. You don't gotta give them a spiel. If you weren't there, you just don't understand it.
Derrick
So
Rose.
Derrick Rose.
yeah,
First of all, every level. High school McDonald's All-American, arguably the number one player in the country. College was one shot away from winning the national championship by taking Memphis, a team that was Memphis. Okay, we're just gonna leave that. Calipari was that he started at Memphis. He took Memphis to the championship against Blue Blood Kansas, lost because Mario Chalmers hit a three-pointer late in the game to win that. Right, so big stage as a freshman, did that. Number one pick, went back to his city, which is all the pressure of getting it done in your own hometown. Then led that team, right, made them relevant again, and then youngest MVP in the history of the game. It doesn't matter. That alone, if his career ended that day, it does not matter. And then career-ending type injuries and still was able to, from a longevity standpoint, adjust his game, change his game from athleticism and explosion to being a thinking game, cerebral game, and last another 10, 12, however many years in the league with the top 450 players in the entire earth. Hall of Fame. I hope that helps Leo.
I mean, I look at impact. Like we're looking at Dame Lillard. I just don't feel it. But I'm also like I'm not from Portland. Maybe they feel it more than I do for what he did for that team. But people wanted like guards wanted to be D Rose for a quick stint. Like you wanted to do what D Rose was doing.
Yeah.
I don't recall ever hearing I want to be like Damian Lillard. That's no disrespect.
Well, I think Dame was one of the first ones. Like he started extending the range, right? He started shooting logo threes even before Steph. He was, extending that range on his shot. Yeah. Dame time was a huge thing that was going on. I think they should have taken more advantage of that from a marketing standpoint. Mm-hmm. He was winning Dame time. Portland was always in the running. They were strong for a minute, and then they shifted things when they traded LaMarcus Aldridge. But him and LaMarcus together, people felt like they just need one other piece to get over the hump. But you had a lot of really good teams. You had Spurs, you had Golden State coming up. You had a lot going on at that time, so they never was able to get over that hump. So a lot of players that never were able to just get over that hump and win, right? Karl Malone, Charles Barkley in the 90s, and so on and so forth. But so it's tough. It's tough to win a ring. There's a lot of incredible players in the Hall of Fame that don't have a ring, and the ring culture chasing rings hasn't necessarily always been a thing because free agency has changed over the years. It's easier now, but it was a little bit more difficult in the past. So you have to keep that in mind. But I don't know, if you're a top 75 player, the mere fact that the league comes out and says you're a top 75, and the same thing when they go with the top 100, you will be guaranteed, in my opinion, to be in the Hall of Fame, period. The NBA has a vote in the Hall of Fame, like their narrative, like you're not going to be, top 75, top 100 in the NBA, but yet the Hall of Fame doesn't recognize you. So that's a moot point for me.
I don't care. Championships don't matter to me. Like, and I'm not just being biased. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have a championship to be in the Hall of Fame at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. They said who better, Westbrook or Rose? He's got to be 15, 14, or he's just trolling right now.
True athletic
Yeah.
career,
Again,
Westbrook.
career, like Westbrook's been in the league for what? What's he on? Year 16, 17, something like
Something like that. Yeah.
Westbrook,
that? Come
l-
on. He like
he
broke triple double records,
he made
MVP.
that normal. He made that triple double stuff normal
Yeah.
for a hot minute.
Yeah. You know what? That's like, so hold on. The going down that rabbit hole, and I don't know how we'll feel about this, or which we'll say is. Anyways, the question is: we talked about earlier, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, the impact defending Russ on what he was able to do for OKC. So some people, I don't think me, but some people would ask, who had the better impact on their city? Would that be Russ in OKC or D Rose in Chicago?
I told y'all Westbrook was in my top 5. I told y'all that. So you know who my answer is. I'm going with Westbrook. I'm going with Westbrook.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aaron?
I'm going to go with Westbrook as well.
Chris?
That's a really, really good question. And
Mhm.
that's a really, really good question. That's actually a pin that D. You know
Yeah,
what I
I like
mean?
that a lot.
That's a huge. Okay, so the narrative is going to go Westbrook because OKC is essentially a new team, right? They were a new franchise. So in the history of their whole entire organization, boom, Westbrook comes in there. What he and KD did for that whole city and the whole history of their organization being removed from Seattle, right? So that's there. That's why it's Westbrook. And it's not the most will not choose Chicago with Derrick because there happened to be a guy with a statue out there named Michael Jordan. But there's nobody been celebrated like Michael Jordan. There's not been an MVP candidate or anything close to that since Derrick Rose, and even after that. So I'm going to go Derrick Rose. The only issue is it's a bigger city. You got to do more, greater lights, more critics. There's a little bit more pressure to do it in Chicago. And the fact that Derrick Rose was from Chicago, typically there's more reasons for you to fail in doing that as opposed to winning it. Westbrook come in, an LA kid, he knew we trying to celebrate anybody. We won. We OKC. Shit, we don't know what it's like to win a championship. We don't know what it's like to. In Chicago, their standards are this high. So for you to come in Chicago with possibly the greatest standards that has ever existed because we believe we had the GOAT and still win the city, to me, that's a greater accomplishment. I'm going to go with Derrick Rose. But hell of a question.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you look at it, it's kind of like what matters more, right? Loyalty over time or the peak impact that someone can have in a short span.
I mean, they just retired. Keep this in mind, add this to it. They just retired Derrick Rose jersey in Chicago. So that means his impact, short or whatever, was great enough for them to hang a jersey in the Raptors with Michael Jordan. If that's not an incredible impact, I don't know what is.
Impact was so short, but it was so loud. It's like you can't deny it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Rose gave Chicago something to feel. And then I guess Chris, your opinion on Russ would be if we're looking at like that narrative. So you're saying Russ gave OKC something to believe in, right?
Yeah, I mean he set a standard, right? He a city that had no relevance in sports. You come in and you make us a champion, right? Or you put us in a position to see what it's like, to fight for a championship. Look at Charlotte. I mean, there's organizations that have never peaked, after coming in as babies. You know what I mean? Like we're going to see the same thing, the narratives with Seattle, and although they had a franchise before with Seattle and Las Vegas. So whoever gets it done in Las Vegas specifically, who's ever great there is going to own that town from a sports standpoint right away on the basketball side. But caveat with that, Russ is in that group with, several others. Then it's like AI, with Philly, and and I think there's several others that who's had the greatest impact. But between those two, I'm gonna go Derrick Rose slightly, but I think this is no disrespect to Russ. I think he had an incredible impact.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, was Russell Westbrook looked at as the best all-around player in the league, not named LeBron James for 3 years?
You say what? That
Was
first part.
Russell Westbrook looked at as the best all-around player in the league, not named LeBron James for 3 years?
Was he looked at like that? No. Should he have been? Yes. It just happened to be that there was somebody down in Houston doing 2 out of the 3 things at an extremely high rate. So it took a lot of the attention off of Westbrook for being the all-around player, even though he was averaging a triple-double. It was always getting swept under because somebody was averaging 30 and like 8 assists. You can't really argue against that at an efficient rate too. So
I think
no,
35.
but yeah. So
Shit.
so no, he wasn't. But was he? Yes, it's in the stats. If you're averaging a triple-double, you have to be the best all-around player. On statistically, you have to be. But yeah, I think James Harden did some damage to that, and that's fine. That's fine.
This is a good topic because this is that narrative where it's like everybody gets a turn. Your turn, your turn. Because KD, Russ, and James, it's like passing the award around. Everybody gets a turn, and I think it's all based about narratives, right? Because it's like, oh well, KD, you went to Golden State, and you left, and James, you went over there. Well, I had my own team because I did. It's like all 3 of you are in the Western Conference. All 3 of you started on the same team, and then all 3 of you had tremendous success. And it's almost like, I don't know, you guys tell me your thoughts. It's like they all were awarded an opportunity to get a turn because, well, shoot, I left and I still did it. I went over here and and KD went champion over, Russ over here, triple double. And then James over here, my numbers are a little bit better. And again, it's like that award, not counting the postseason, I think has some effect on, on who that award goes to. But it's interesting because the only one to win a championship of those 3 being passed around ended up being KD. But you still got that. You left to go get your championship. So I don't know. That's for me. Just what I'm saying in that space is that they all got a turn, and should they all have gotten a turn, or was one of them actually just the best talent at that time or the best player in the league?
I like that because it was. I like that. It was after when did KD win his MVP? 2014, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because Steph
Okay,
was 20. Was Steph 2015 or 16?
16 probably.
Aaron's on it. Pull it up, Aaron.
So yeah, I like that they were taking turns. That's a good point. In that same time frame too, that same like little 3-4 time span, 2018 to like 2015, 14. Everybody was
2014,
swapping.
14.
Yeah, you got Westbrook got his MVP in that little 4-year span. Harden got it 2018. Katie didn't get. He got it 2014, but he was still there. So like when he left, the only thing that was missing was his MVP, but he get the Finals MVP. Yeah, they was really
Finals.
switching turns. They were
Yeah.
really taking turns. I did not even realize that.
Yeah. And so that was my team growing up, and Katie's always been my guy, as you guys clearly know now. And I think that, as basketball fans and basketball media, we're always pinning each other against, or pinning players against each other, and waiting careers to take one down, level one up. And like when you look at Chris, thank you for bringing this up, the gold standard of like teams. I don't think that OKC group gets enough credit for what they became, right? We're talking about 3 guys, KD, Harden, and Russ, who all went to have MVP level careers after leaving the same team that they all started on, right? I don't think that happens often. Most teams are lucky enough to develop one player into a guy like that. They had 3 guys. So like, even if they don't, I guess it's on different levels. KD got championships and et cetera. I think it's just crazy to think that like they all became all-time great players. And I think that says a lot about that OKC era too. And, I think now we should start looking at like teams with young talent like that. Like who can become that next gold standard. Like that's crazy to think about.
I'm gonna shout out Sam Presti because
Mhm.
because to be leading an organization that left Seattle, went to a whole new area, right? To be leading the organization to draft those three guys, then turn around and do it again with a very unpopular trade for SGA for Paul George, and then turn around and draft again. I'm gonna shout him out as like that is the gold standard for executives in basketball. I'm gonna let y'all touch on the players, but I just wanted to shout that out.
That's where I was going.
Teams need to stop trading with that nigga, man. He keeps getting away with this shit. I'm tired of niggas giving him shit. Like, what the fuck is he doing to y'all?
He just sees he has the vision. He sees what people don't in players. Nah, that's exactly where I was going. I was going with a shout out to the organization because you're doing this for years on end. So, and he just sees it. He sees the vision because the Clippers had this. I just never forget that. You had this and just did nothing with it. Like, he didn't just become this overnight. You had this. He was doing this in practice, and you didn't let him do it on the court, at this level. So Sam Presti just know what he's doing.
Sam Presti's competence versus the rest of the league's incompetence. Right. I'm with you, baby.
Yeah. Chat, you're going wild. Yeah, thank you. Yes, Junior, you got that. Again, quick shout out to everybody that's locked in and live with us, because you guys with joining the stream and giving us topics that we couldn't even foresee our damn selves has been a tremendous thing. So much so that we have to kind of shift what our topic list is. So again, we do want to hear from you guys and love what you're doing in terms of rocking with us. I was going to have you go with the Jokic thing, and I do want to talk about probably just that first question, but everything else, I think we can move away from and go right to Olivia right after, if you guys are cool with that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we just saw a 50-point game and a 2020-19 triple-double from the same duo on the same night. Are we officially looking at the most unstoppable two-man tandem in the history of the league in regards to Jokic and Murray?
No.
No, hell no.
Look, hell no.
Who I am curious. I agree with you with the hell no, or I don't agree with hell no. I agree with no. But I'm curious who you got above them that at a playoff level, a championship level, who goes hand in hand with them outside? Yeah, who goes
Magic,
hand in hand with them?
Kareem, Kobe, Shaq, Jordan.
Why did you
was
ask
it?
that?
Oh, hold on. The question was ever or now? I'm sorry.
It says in the history of the league.
Oh, okay. Junior, do me a quick thing. Mark down a quick note that when we're doing the script writing for Madison, not to include ever. My bad. I was thinking this as currently right now.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
It says in the history.
Do you want?
But if you want to shift it,
no, yeah, please shift it now.
Let's
I don't
shift
care about ever, because that's
okay.
Come on, that's clear.
If we're talking about currently, I'm gonna go with JB and JT.
boom.
Wow.
But well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, because Jamal Murray's play elevates to that level in playoffs and in finals. We've seen that. And Jokic, damn near unstoppable. Neither JT or JT could stop.
I hear what you're saying. But up until last year, JB and JT only knew what it was like to get to the Eastern Conference Finals or the finals. All right. They didn't know what it was like to lose in the first and second round. They didn't know. So I'm going to go with JB and JT because they have been the best tandem for the past 6, 7, 8, potentially 8 years.
Okay. Were you talking about like? I think you're basing it off of like winning, right? Like how far they get. Because I think it's Jamal Murray and Jokic. I'm gonna give it to them.
Nobody's picking Jamal Murray over JB or JT.
I'm saying as a duo to lead my squad to a championship, I think they're still one of the most scariest duos. Like, I'm going with them. I think it's neck and neck, but I'm going with them.
Yeah, I would go with them because I'm gonna go with them specifically because of Jokic. Because of Jokic, like when you take the two, I think Murray and Jokic together They do elevate each other's game. We've seen crazy games come postseason from Jamal Murray. Forget Jokic. We've seen numbers, clutch shots, all that from Jamal Murray. But then you add in Jokic. So you have JB and JT. If I had to, we'll take JT as Jamal Murray as the comparison. There's no comparison for Jokic on that end. So that's why I think they're the better duo. There's just no comparison. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I just disagree with you here, but let me tell you why.
Yeah, I'm listening.
JT has consistently been at least a name you would consider in MVP voting, or he was when they had the Olympics, he was the only player for the U.S. team all NBA first team. Is that accurate?
Yep, that is correct.
So if you're all NBA, that means you're top 5 in the league. So if JT has been top 5 in the league, right? And JB is currently, I'm sure should be all NBA and is in the MVP race. And Jaylen Brown and JT have both been in the MVP race. And currently Jaylen Brown is rated ahead of Jokic on some people or a majority of people in the MVP race. Then one would have to think that JB and JT we could put Jokic above them, not this year, but if you put Jokic above them, they're both right here. So if he's 1A and they're 1B and 1C, Murray is not in the conversation.
Jamal Murray just made his first All-Star game. He don't even have an All-NBA. The other two are all NBA, all defensive MVP candidate players.
Oh my gosh, hold on. ESPN just put out a thing just now, since we're on this conversation. Title is Kia MVP ladder. Victor Wembanyama surges past SGA for the #1 spot as MVP.
Oh, Jaylen Brown need to get on a mic right now and start screaming at the hilltops.
And it currently goes, hold on. Oh, and Chris, now this contradicts your statement because it goes #1 Victor, #2 SGA, #3 Jokic, #4 Luka, #5 Jaylen Brown. That's Kia. So Jaylen Brown is not ahead of Jokic on that list.
Yeah, tell Jaylen Brown to get on a mic after the game now. That's absurd.
Jaylen Brown's only issue is that he has his own mind and he speaks against particular narratives. That's his only issue. And he doesn't, like, he talks against, he speaks about the agent model. That his only issue is people don't like, he talked about, he didn't even they didn't put him on the Olympic team. So it put everybody on his team on the Olympic team and not him. So listen, JB's issues have nothing to do with the play. Jaylen Brown to me is having the best season to fit the narrative of most valuable player for the team. Him and Victor, in my opinion. But still, regardless of all of that, going back to this subject, regardless of where he falls, if you take JB and JT and they're 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, Murray is too far down the ladder to close the gap. He's just too far down the ladder. He's just not not all NBA player.
I like that. So for me, I'm shifting a little different, and I'm taking talent into account, but I'm taking also like chemistry to winning into account for me, right? And I get Jamal Murray's nowhere on the level of a JB or even a JT, but I look at you know what, Aaron, hold on, take this. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he is a great player. I love Jamal Murray, and I like went crazy pushing for dude during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best performances I ever seen, right? Like that. The biggest thing, it's crazy because the Lakers ended up winning the championship, but Murray and Jimmy Butler, like they were the most entertaining players and narratives during that time. Like I was incredibly impressed with both of them. So I'm not against it. I just think that, I see where D is going with the fact that you got a guard and a big. So I see that, you know what I mean? Inside, outside always worked. That was always super relevant with Kobe and Shaq. And I love those narratives. You kind of had that going on with the big three, big four, if you will, with the Spurs. So anytime you can have an inside-outside punch, there's value in that. And I'm with that. JB and JT both being on the perimeter, one may think that it takes away from that. But you get that with Scottie Pippen and Jordan, both on the perimeter. Never had a real true big that was dominant. So I just think that those two from a talent level just carries that load a little bit more.
This is just blowing my mind right now. A dude that averages 24 and 11 is somehow first in
Nah. In
24.
MVP, you're talking
Team
about
success. Go ahead. Go.
No, I get the team success part, but I'm the
you talking about Victor, right?
I'm the second best offensive player in the league, and I'm number 1 overall in the NBA.
That's why I said.
And
JB.
I haven't had my second best player all year, and I'm still carrying the team on my back. So I'm second in terms of offense, and I looked up what he's ranked defense. He's ranked 6th defense overall. SGA is. Like, Wemby's number 1 in defense, but in terms of offense, he's the 21st best scorer. So the gap between, like he said, I don't see.
He got on that mic. You were just talking about. Nah, this is crazy. You was just talking about how people shouldn't campaign for themselves, and we're on the same page on that. Once you do that, it's looking like you're not gonna win. But would you look at this?
I
know. Would you look at this? He campaigned for himself, and now that's absurd. No, I've never seen such a quick. They couldn't wait like another week or two to make it seem like that didn't have anything. This clearly has something to do with what he said. It's not like it's obvious that he said something, and now they like, here you go, here, damn.
Yeah, like, come on now, this is gonna be stupid.
Here, you got all right. Here, shut up.
Player, and I'm the 6th best defender in the league. That's SGA.
Yeah.
Wemby, I'm the number 1 defensive player, but I'm the 21st ranked offensive player. See how big that gap is?
His team not even one in the West. So, like, what's the argument besides him pleading and crying? Oh no, this is terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible. But real quick to the Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum point, I just find it funny how we'll always find a way to touch on history. This is why Miami shouldn't have did that to them, because the argument would have been over if they had faced each other. We would have had an answer, a clear-cut answer, if Denver and the Celtics were in the finals that year instead of the Heat going. So
this is true. We had that issue with. I mean, it's funny bringing up that. Go over there, and I'm gonna come back. Remember how Nike was pushing the campaign for Kobe and LeBron to meet in the finals. And I think LeBron even talked about it, how he failed and didn't get there.
Yeah.
Missed opportunities. But look at this. I'm gonna say something real quick on the Wemby thing, and then D, you can take over. But shout out, I'm a butcher Buna's last name, but Buna Inji, who is Victor's agent, a boutique agent, French African agent. Shout out him for them doing a hell of a job on the marketing side with pushing the narrative of their guy, giving real consideration for the MVP. But look at this stat, though. I saw this earlier. On January 31st, the Spurs were 32-16. 51 days later, they're 54-18. So for 54 days, they've lost twice.
2 games. Yeah.
Like,
damn,
right? Like,
yeah, when you look at it like
means
that.
I'm losing on average once a month.
Barely. That's crazy.
He just gave credit to who? The coach?
No, I gave credit to his agent from the standpoint. Buna is his agent from the marketing standpoint. But then from a basketball standpoint, Wemby, like 51 days and you lose 2 games and you've won 24. That's impressive. That's MVP work.
I mean, you got your credit to coach too, because they're a young team and they're sitting in an incredible position. So again, I mean, this is great because I don't know, it could change tomorrow in terms of who's actually going to be MVP, and we won't know until it's final, right? But again, if Wemby wins MVP and DPOY, then we talked about this earlier in the week. Last person we saw do this was Giannis, and you said it was clear cut that Giannis deserved both of those awards because he was on a whole nother level, very dominant. What does it look like for Wemby then? How will we look at this season?
No, this is terrible. I had just said it before you came back on that this is a hair dam.
Oh, here's a hair dam.
He just got off the mic. And now he's number one.
Yeah.
It ain't clear cut. And then Aaron was talking about it. He's like 20. What'd you say? 21st, 26th in offensive?
Here's SGA. SGA is ranked second in terms of offense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's ranked 6th in terms of defense. That's his gap between his offense and his defense.
Yeah,
Wemby is number 1 in defense, but in terms of his offense, he's like 21st. See how big that fucking gap is?
I see.
A nigga that's talking about I do as much on the offense as much as I do on defense. No, the fuck you don't.
I like that. So right here, that's a good point too. This would also be taken from Rose's history in the league. He would no longer be the youngest MVP, right?
Yes, Wemby's 22. Derrick Rose won it at 23.
Nah, Wemby can't win the MVP. This is insane. This is insane. He can't
Ask what
win
pitch
it.
and moan get you.
And you know what's crazy too is that thing that was one of Rose's gold standards highlights and part of his narrative is that he's the youngest MVP ever. Now he's just MVP.
Dude, that's if. No, I don't want Wemby to win it. I don't want no. He can't be MVP. There's no way. I don't even have a case. I don't have a case as much as people think there's a case for him besides him being a generational freak talent. I don't have a case this year of him being the most valuable player.
I mean, he's the most dominant player. He dominates both sides of it. Yeah. He dominates the game. Like, you have to strategize for him. You can't just come in there and just keep doing the same shit you always done when you play against him. You cannot play the Spurs the same way that you play everybody else. Literally, you have to change your style of play when you play against him if he's out there playing 38 minutes. And so I always had a thing. Mark Workentine, shout out to my guy Mark Workentine, who hired me with the Portland Trailblazers and let me have a little scouting role. And he always said, dominate your peers.
Yeah.
Go find the guys that dominate their peers. Wemby totally dominates his peers. But
he does.
D-Tech, as a Knicks fan, I am sorry that you are a Knicks fan, all right?
So is it.
All right, and he's a part-time Knicks fan, according to Josh Hart. Y'all don't like y'all. Shit. Damn.
This is a good point too. Chris. We talked about narratives. Did anyone have the Spurs in a top 2 seed, top 3 seed, top 4 or 5 seed?
No. Nobody did. No.
We've talked about.
We knew they were going to be a playoff team. We just didn't know they were going to be number 2.
We talked about this early in conversations when we've been on this subject about Wemby and me in support of Wemby with the fact that they have a young team and that he's leading that group. The same way I pushed for SGA would be the same way I would go down that road with pushing for Wemby. You take a team, you show the leadership where you take a young group of teammates and you teach them, you change the narrative where they get used to winning at this level
quickly too.
You're gonna be in the conversation for me, if not the guy.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of great scores and we've seen a lot of great defenders. I don't think we've seen it at guys that can do both at this level, especially this early on in their career. At, would you say 22 years old?
Yeah.
Wemby's going to be one of those players where it's like he's going to be dominating the MVP conversation so much. They're going to like we do for other players, like we've done for Jokic, like we've done for LeBron. He's going to be one of those players where they're going to have to make up the most little insignificant excuse to not give it to him. Because they're gonna, I'm tired of this nigga winning it. It's gonna get to that point.
I will say though, if Wemby wins, have him give you a little pushback on this. If Wemby wins this, I think that sets a narrative, and it may not, but I think it sets a narrative that defense can take you to an MVP. Because that was his whole argument, right? It can't be he's not offensively doing it, but he's doing it by far at a high defensive level. So I hope that's a narrative. Like, yes, you can be a Luka and you can dominate offensively crazy, right? And we've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope this sets a precedent. Like Wemby got it, not because just the effect he had on offense, but because of how clear it was on the defensive end that he was able to make an impact. You got to be able to really do both to be MVP.
Then we gotta go back in time.
No. I said set the going forward.
I know.
Forward. I don't care.
I agree with you though. Like, but that should have been the precedent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we owe some people some MVPs, big time.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Hey, look,
yeah.
Man, I don't care that you arrived late to the party. I just care that you arrived. That's my philosophy.
I like that.
Yeah.
You want to go into Olivia Miles?
Mm-hmm. Sorry. All right. So, sorry about that.
No, you're good. Yeah, I love it.
Olivia Miles, projected as a top lottery pick in the upcoming WNBA draft. Notre Dame star, now at TCU, is reportedly passing on the pros to return for another college season in pursuit of a national championship. Is this a brilliant legacy move, or is she taking an unnecessary risk with her professional career?
Yeah. Before I get into detail, let me quick research how many years she has up, because this is crazy. Olivia Miles stats. She is class of.
Wait, so she's turning down the draft again?
Oh, wait.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Or is this talking about she already did it because she had turned it down for this one? 1, 2. Nah, this is her last year. She can't possibly turn down the draft again. Unless maybe she can when she tore.
You can turn down twice.
I mean, you could turn.
How much eligibility does she have? Does she have any eligibility there?
It looks like she might. It looked like she might, but that would be 7 years. But she did get hurt. So her 2020 to 2021 season, she only played 6 games because she got hurt.
Right, sure.
So that would meet the criteria of not playing enough games. And then remember her 23-24 season, she didn't play at all because of ACL. And she's class of 2020. So you still have a COVID year.
Jesus.
I know. It's confusing.
Bottom line, should she? Jesus. Well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't think she'll do. I don't think she should, or I think it happened. People disagree with her last year doing it in the first place because you was projected to. We knew this class was heavy, and we knew no way you were going to be projected to in this class. But it turned out to work in her favor because of the new CBA. So I think you just go. Please just get out of college. Like, just go do your thing. I know you're making more money in college now, but now you're making more money than you would have last year. I think we hold a lot of weight to the national championship in college, especially for the best players, men's and women's. Oh, you don't have a national championship. You need that as the best player, but no, it's okay. Just go in the W. Go leave your impact there. Go start your legacy there. I think it's time to leave the college behind. If this is even like true, if this turns out to be true.
Yeah, this is the one time I'm typically down with athletes staying in school because I think, at least on the boys' side, they go really early. You know what I mean? This is a narrative I'm going to typically switch. I'm going to do a 180 because you've been in school so long. In the women's game, you already have to stay, to qualify with being able to go to the W. So I'm sure she has her degree. I believe she's prepared for life. And you have a massive increase in salary in the W now. So this is one of those narratives when it's like, oh, give a young kid a chance type deal, scholarship. And the fact that you've accomplished so much, I think you would just be trying to almost manufacture a championship with sticking around because there's no guarantee. I mean, injuries happen, things change, rosters change. So for me, go to the draft and just go live your life, regardless of what happens professionally. Like, get on with life.
Yeah. For the women's game, it's like rare that you see quick turnarounds for programs. It usually takes a while, and TCU is on the turnaround. Like they're on the come up in the last 2.5 years when Haley was there. You see Vanderbilt, they had a quick turn. This is rare, but you're not going to win the championship. You're not going to win the championship because the same 3 people win it all the time. You're not winning it. So why even put that? Unless you transfer to UConn or UConn has to have strong for the next 2 years at least. So they're gonna win the next 2 years at least. So unless you transfer there, it's no point. Just go.
Will USC be in the mix next year?
With Juju back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is granted.
Hell yes.
God
And-
willing, she's the same player.
And the left-handed girl.
The Jazzy girl.
Jazz is
Yes.
tough.
Yeah, she's tough, and she's coming into her game finally. You know, she was
Yeah.
struggling earlier, but I think, God willing, Juju is the same player. No, because there's no answer in the country for Sarah Strong. So that's why nobody has an answer for her unless you make a player in the lab tomorrow. So I think it's no point in wasting your time in college. If you're Olivia Miles, just go to the W. So that's my answer. This would be an unnecessary risk for her future. She's gonna keep dropping. She's gonna keep dropping in draft stock.
I mean, she said I'm returning in pursuit of a national championship. Yeah. Yeah, just go ahead and turn pro, girl, because UConn and South Carolina, they ain't going nowhere. Like I saw the interview last night with one of with the South Carolina players. They asked him, your last loss was against who again? And one girl couldn't even remember. Think about how insane that is. You win so much that you don't even remember your losses.
Yeah.
They don't even let the loss is not even in their minds. It's like they just assume they've won for the past 4-5 years. So I don't know what. Look, I respect it that you want to win a national championship, but girl, WNBA scouts don't give a damn how many national championships you won. All right, they care about you as the individual player. What did you do? What did you do? Juju may never win a national championship. We don't know, but I guarantee she's still gonna go number 1 after 4 years because they're gonna look at them stats like, damn, she averaged about 38 and 8 all 4 years of college.
Ev, can you explain to Dove Tech why she can't just enter the draft?
Juju or Olivia Miles?
Juju. Question in the panel. My bad.
Why she can't just enter the draft? So
Yeah, for
we care a little. Yeah, the women's tend to care a little bit more about the future of players because it's not guaranteed that you're going to the league, and it's also not another outlet. There will be in the next few years with these other leagues coming in, but the history of it is there's only one league, which is the W. So go get your education first. If you are 21 though, in your 3rd year, you can go. You don't have to graduate.
Okay.
But if you don't meet the 21 year mark, then you have to finish college. Because Kirsten Bell did that. She left early. She went to Ohio State and then FGCU for 2 years. That's 3. Was old enough and she went. So yeah, you just can't enter unless you're 21 or finish college. I like that idea. Get your degree. It's never guaranteed. You go number 1. Anybody, not talking about Juju. I'm moving to some Juju. I don't want to put bad Juju on Juju. Anybody go number 1. Career and injury. At least you have a degree. So,
but she still has how many years left? What, 2, 3? Because her injury happened in her freshman year, didn't it?
Sophomore.
It was she was a sophomore. Oh shit! I could have swore she was.
I think that the years be mixing together for me. I think that was her sophomore year. Her freshman year was 23, 24. Last year was 24, 25. So she should have 3 more years left.
Oh, it should be a redshirt junior next season.
I don't think she'll take all 3 though. That wouldn't be smart. I think you
Yeah.
finish out your 2 and go.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody's waiting for her to get to the league. Nobody cares about college no more for her.
Yeah. Yeah. I know she
So,
can't
yeah.
wait to get back. She's I'm out of here after this year. Y'all have fun. Gone. Let me
Yeah.
go ahead and average my 30 and get the fuck on.
Yeah. So
Perfect. So then, if she returns and doesn't win a title, how will this be remembered? At least in her college career, because I'm assuming it will still work out for her. Going to the W, and then obviously now with the CBA, she'll probably make a good amount of money. But if she doesn't win a title, how will she be remembered?
I'm gonna say I don't think y'all want to say this. It would probably go down as like one of the stupidest decisions ever. The men have it too with, you don't want to be 24. The pros don't want you when you're coming in at 24. If y'all have that, we definitely have that because, women's bodies, we don't have it like that forever. We have things to worry about, as we get on in age. So no, they don't want a 25, 26-year-old coming in as no. It would be dumb. It would go down as a stupid decision.
I was gonna ask if that's the same like dilemma on the men's side. Is that also the same dilemma on the women's? Like, does the dub also prioritize age the same way the NBA does? I was going to ask you that, but you answered it for me, so thank you.
We already coming in at 23.
Yeah.
They don't want 25. 20. They'll take it, but like, all right, how much more can you give us at a high pace, high rate without your body giving out?
Makes sense.
So, yeah. Chris, anything?
No, I think that's great. I agree with you guys. I love it, and you broke it down and explained it. So, now that we've actually seen how March Madness is playing out, it's getting real. Had some really good games yesterday, and of course, Darian was celebrating with his picks and so on and so forth. But anyway, we're going to skip past that. I've watched this long enough to know the Elite Eight is where talent stops saving you. It's about discipline. It's about execution, and who doesn't beat themselves. So look, if you're watching these games like that, this is when I'll go to my bookie and lock in my bet, or you should go to my bookie and lock in your bet. From our community out there, if you believe in what you're seeing, you might as well stand on it a little bit. They'll cover your first bet up to $500 too. So if you missed, you actually get another second shot. So, maybe even like my team, Michigan State, who's still in it, who's playing today in the Sweet 16, want to get to the Elite Eight. Yeah. Anyway, lock in, you'll get another shot. 2 chances. Check it out.
Yeah. I mean, in regards to March Madness, we can't not talk about blue bloods. So following Hubert Davis's exit, North Carolina is reportedly heavily pursuing Bulls coach Billy Donovan. While Donovan hasn't explicitly denied interest, the rumors of him returning to college ranks to lead a blue blood program are peaking. Billy Donovan is being linked to the North Carolina vacancy as an early favorite. Should he leave the NBA grind behind to become king of Chapel Hill, or is a return to college a step backward?
Look, man, some people just ain't meant to be NBA coaches. All right. Some people are just more suited for the college game. I'm just very surprised he's been the Bulls coach for this long. And I'm very surprised by that, man. They ain't won shit. They ain't done nothing. And the fact that he still has a job as an NBA coach is some things I just don't question, because maybe they see something that we don't. But like, how long has he been the coach for the Bulls?
Too long.
I think it's about at least 10 seasons, right?
It's been a while.
I answered it. Too long.
Oh, God.
And how many playoff appearances do they have?
They got
What?
he coached.
Well, remember, he was OKC first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's been the coach for 5 years and 6 months.
Yeah, he coached OKC from 15 to 20, and then Bulls now.
All right.
You know why I say that's too long?
Zero
because
playoff.
it's coaches out here going to the playoffs and Eastern Conference Finals getting booted. That's too long.
Yeah, like Tom Thibodeau.
That's who I was talking about. That's who I was talking about. And Bickerstaff when he got the boot. And Bickerstaff when he got the boot.
Bickerstaff for sure. I'm with you on
for sure.
Bickerstaff. I think so. Billy's my guy. So I'm gonna go and support my guy. Billy's my guy. Love Billy. And Billy is actually a player's coach. Like he is one of the guys that coaches. Like he was always that in college. He is a player's coach. So he fits the style within the league. If he's not with the Bulls, he'll be somewhere else because he's a likable guy. He's an expert from the standpoint of drawing up offense. Very relatable and very well respected. You know what I mean? He's Kentucky guy. He has ties. And essentially, you go back to Florida, he took a football school team and turned it into a basketball powerhouse. Mm-hmm. So now college, Texas was supposed to be trying to throw the book at, throw everything in the kitchen sink at Billy to get him to come to Texas just a few years ago. His name is going to continuously pop up because his mentor, Rick Pitino, did the same, right? His mentor, he played for Rick, and that's his mentor. Rick ended up going back to college. So I get why his name is always popping up. I don't necessarily believe that he'll end up going with UNC. And I believe that UNC will probably ultimately kind of stay in-house and get somebody that's from the UNC tree. But as far as Billy, as an NBA coach, I think he would have to make that decision, and the money would have to be so strong and so great for him to go back. He's going to continue to be an NBA coach. And so I don't know what that dollar figure looks like. I do know that when he was in college, one of the things he struggled with, what he didn't like, he wanted to just do basketball. Yeah. So today's game might fit, with NIL and the transfer portal. He may be more enticed now because it tends to be a little bit more just about sports for guys coming in and out. But he didn't like the fact they had to go to school and this, and there was limits on training and practice and stuff like that. So they'd have to do a lot to convince him, and he'd probably have to have an incredible staff in order for him to go back.
Yeah, I do like him for this job though, because despite what his NBA resume looks like, I think he was a good NBA coach. I don't think he was a great one, but I think he could be a great college coach because he was a great college coach, right? He had back-to-back national championships, did he not, Chris? In 06. Yep. Actually, Robe was on that squad, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's had back-to-back championships. He's developed players. Mike Miller came out of there. I mean, Billy's a genius. I mean, in Florida wasn't even great. Like Al Horford and Joakim Noah and those guys, none of those guys were All-Americans. They were like good high school players, like really good in their states, but none of them were All-Americans. Corey Brewer was the highest rated guy on that group outside of Roberson prior to. So, yeah.
And I mean, some coaches, to their credit, right? They are system builders and player developers, right? They do know a little bit more control to be able to develop and build continuity. And I think that's where I think this job is perfect for him because that's college. That's not the NBA. We know that is a college thing. So if he decides to do it, I don't think it's a step down. I think that's a great opportunity for him, especially UNC. So I think he has a chance to turn the program around with what Jay Will is saying, right? About them not even being a blue blood. And it's crazy.
Well, that's the thing about Carolina, though. The fact that they're considering Billy Donovan is kind of outside of their normal hiring process. They usually go for ones that have been there before. Right. They're either a former player or former assistant coach that eventually left, but now they're wanting to come back. He has no type of Carolina lineage whatsoever. So they're stepping outside their normal hiring process. That just shows how fucking desperate they are. Because I don't know about y'all, but in terms of Carolina, Carolina doesn't, as of recently, doesn't have the stars, if that makes sense. What's the last North Carolina star? I thought it was going to be Caleb Wilson this year, but unfortunately he got hurt. But who's that great? It just seems like Carolina is so team oriented. They don't they don't develop stars like that. They just
And
don't.
they had
Like,
the chance.
and they've had the
chances.
chance. Like, they don't develop stars like a Duke, a Kentucky, or a Michigan, or a Michigan
Mhm.
State, or whatever the case may be. Like, who was the last great North Carolina star? One that dominated while he was there and then went on to the NBA. And I'm not even
I'll
gonna-
I didn't want to put this up.
It's terrible. They better stop that.
I'm not. No,
I
I'm
ain't
not.
gonna say nothing about my
Nah.
dog. But yeah, they better stop it.
I'll tell you who.
Jordan.
They had Caleb Love, and I'm not. I know why he left. Whatever they say, but they had an opportunity there. Went to AZ, did just fine, doing just fine in the league.
Oh yeah.
You had old boy up in TTUN from New York or Jersey. What the hell is his name? Little boy with the fro. Somebody help me. Number 3.
Ooh, Bobo with the fro.
For who?
Your description.
Son, point guard.
Little lanky dude with the long sleeves. I said, what?
Yes, Elliot Cadeau. Jesus.
Oh,
They had him. I don't know what happened. Didn't want to develop him. Now he's doing just fine.
Yeah.
You had Ian Jackson. Didn't want to develop him. So clearly it was a problem with the coaching staff. Clearly it was a problem with the coaching staff.
I think they need to go outside the box a
Yes.
little bit because they don't have the lineage of the coaches and the former players from North Carolina coming back and having the impact necessary in today's climate. The transfer portal and NIL exists. So just going with hey, we're going to go with this GOAT old school cat that played for us years ago. Unfortunately, Carolina currently right now, the presence of just the school is not enough to get the top players to come there. So I think you got to go with a little bit of bang for your buck. And ironically, Billy is go after Billy because another one of his issues was at Florida. He always felt like I got to always work so hard to get a guy. Like I got to out recruit everybody. Yeah. When Carolina, Kentucky, North Carolina, or Michigan, they just get guys. People just call them up and say, hey, I want to come there. So you do have some of that, but you still got to work the system. And I believe that in North Carolina's case, they haven't worked the transfer portal and, gone outside the box in today's climate. I think they've kind of sat on their hands a little bit with, we're Carolina. You want to come here, and that, you get fired for that. So
I got a question. Is the UNC job still the gold standard in coaching, or has the new era of the transfer portal, like you just said, made even the biggest college jobs like less attractive than the NBA?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I don't think those are like the golden standards now for college, like the Blue Bloods, the biggest teams. But I think big teams in general are still the golden standard. You know what I'm saying? So maybe not the UNCs, the Dukes, the Kentuckys, but like the LSUs, the Floridas, the Auburns. I think those are good. Not the Blue Bloods, the top 5 schools that we always talk about, but maybe like the B tier schools that are still Power 5.
So I'm gonna say that from a coaching standpoint and an agent standpoint of representing coaches and players and things of that nature, yes, they are still the gold standard because you tend to have a greater alumni base. You have a greater history, and typically they'll pay, you know what I mean? And you still just parents, you got parents my age and older, that looked at those schools as, top tier schools, top tier universities, and you have history. So I believe it still is a little bit easier to recruit and to get guys to come there. You say, hey, North Carolina's on the line. Doesn't matter who else is on the line. You say Duke. I got Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina calling you, Michigan State. That kid is going to at least hear them out. Now, if the bag or the role or the recruiting there's a big gap, no. But if the gap is here, I believe they're going to go with those blue bloods every time. most recruits still to this day.
Yeah, that was going to be my question for you guys. I mean, think about it, right? Like Cal left, Patino left. They're moving around. Coaches are moving around, leaving major programs because maybe college basketball isn't what it used to be, especially with NIL, the transfer portal, roster turnover every year. You're not really building dynasties anymore. You're kind of managing the year-to-year teams, right? Year-to-year roster. Do you think right now, Chris, I mean, you think those are still good standards? Do you think it will be the same in, let's say, 5 years?
It could shift a little bit, I mean, based on other programs having more success. But, like, let's take Cal. Cal left because it got too heavy. The crown got too heavy for even Cal. Oh. They were still, what's up, Cal? When we getting back to the Final Four, man? What's going on? So for him, he's like, shit, I'm getting older. I'm having success. Y'all still not happy? You know what? I can go somewhere else where they'll appreciate me and what I've done in the past. You know, coming in whatever, first, second, or third in the conference, getting to the Sweet 16. They'll be ecstatic about that. Where you guys, this is Kentucky. We Final Four or nothing. If it's not a Final Four, to them, it's a bust season. So the standards are higher. So going with your question, the gold standard, it is the gold standard, but there's a lot of pressure that comes with those jobs, and you have to be willing to accept it.
Yep. And he went somewhere where they got more money.
More money. Yeah, more motherfucking money.
I was going to say that.
The lineage at Arkansas, wow. Tyson chicken nuggets, Walmart.
Shit, I like me some Tyson nuggets. Let me tell you what. Chris, that actually leads right into what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I want to go on my little mid-roll. Also, I just want to let everybody know I appreciate you guys rocking with us in the chat. We see y'all out there. You know, we appreciate those takes. You guys are giving us a bunch of topics to conversate on. If you're enjoying the conversation, which I'm sure you all are, like, subscribe, and please share it to your friends, share it to your family, let them know about it. It keeps us building, and that's where we're at right now. So we appreciate that.
Real quick before you go into yours, I know you said the crown got too heavy for Cal, which is interesting to me because I think he kind of proved, and Rick too, kind of proved that they can win anywhere, right? Like, so I do want to give respect to both those coaches because what they've been able to do after leaving those programs to show who they still are as coaches with the help of a little money, like that obviously helps, right, to build a roster and for themselves. But I think a lot of coaches get tied to that brand of basketball with being behind what we're calling the gold standard of universities. And then when they step away, it doesn't quite hit the same, right? But I think both of them, again, have proven that they can go to a new situation, adjust to a completely different era of college basketball and still compete at a high level. Like they both made it to, well, I mean, now for Cal it was in a Sweet 16, but either way, really, really good. But us talking about coaches moving, Chris, what's your opinion on that? Is there a double standard there?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's get into this. So this is a topic I've been wanting to talk about. The standard has shifted. I mean, it's double standard, right? It's hypocrisy in sports. And, we get people tend to keep talking about the kids, labeling athletes, college athletes as kids from a sensitive narrative to kind of get us to really look at them as children when actually they're all adults. We call it men's basketball, women's college basketball. So they're actual adults. And so we have all of these narratives out there. We even have senators and, people in Congress getting out there with their opinion about we got to protect the kids, what's right for the kids. We have Calipari, we have my guy Izzo standing up on the microphone saying we got to change these standards for the kids, and loyalty. And what are you teaching them? They're going to grow up without a sense of loyalty and commitment and things of that. When the times get tough, fight through. So on all these narratives. But yet you have a guy, Will Wade, and just the topic for today, Will Wade, right, who's literally leaving NC State after one season, paid well. They took him after he was fired. He was fired at LSU for cheating, right? Now they're going to bring him back. He's done one season at NC State, and there's no uproar. There's no, where's the loyalty at? What are you teaching the kids? Now you're going to have kids that that let's say that team, all those guys wanted to stay loyal in return and come back. Their coach is gone. So then what happens now? Now NC State, what do they have to do? They got to go take somebody else's coach. And then what do? They got to go take somebody else's coach. And then the domino effect. It's not like these guys that are losing coaches are now going to get assistant coaches, and elevating them. They go take somebody else's head coach. Why? Because they want to win. Why? Because they're selfish. Why? Because they're about what's best for them. So the narrative about the kids, if you will, in sports and the transfer portal needs to change and NIL is too much is all complete bullshit. I'm calling everybody out that's on those. It's complete bullshit. Because if you don't use the microphone, if you don't use the pen, if you don't write an article, if you don't kick and scream, if you don't create a bill, right now they have a bill in Congress to stop kids from being able to transfer. If you're not going to create the same bill for 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old grown men to do the same, then it's complete hypocrisy, it's complete bullshit. And I'm calling you all out on it.
Beautifully.
Preach.
Hey man, bravo. I do got something for that. What am I cheering? And hold on. I got something for this. I got something. Hey now.
I did want to talk about the Josh Hart and Stephen A thing. I was really looking forward to that.
Go ahead, give a quick take on that. Give us a rundown.
Wait, hold on. How much time we got?
How much time you got?
No, I just want to give a shout out to Chris real quick before we get to the Josh Hart thing.
Yeah,
we know what it is though. Like it's hypocrisy, but come on, it's like the owners never want to see the laborers have some autonomy over their life. This goes deeper than NCAA. This is how society works. But like the CEO never wants to see his employers have control over their, like, come on, this is how it goes. So the head coaches don't want to see the players actually have a say over their lives. That's it. That's how it go. We know how it go. Eric, come on, let's run this take. I'm ready.
I know, that's why I was like, I know she gonna like this. Oh, hold on, what'd you do with it?
My bad. Go ahead. My bad. I was trying to get this. There we go.
Oh, okay, there we are. All right, so after Stephen A. Smith criticized Mikal Bridges and told Josh Hart to be quiet, Hart fired back, calling Stephen A. Smith a part-time Knicks fan and telling him to shut the hell up, claiming he barely knows who is on the team. So is Hart right to call out a part-time fan, or is he just feeding into the media circus?
Josh Hart, you just got here. Let's relax. Let's take a deep breath. You just got here. You don't know what a part-time fan is, what a full-time fan. You don't know what that is. Second of all, no, I think it's just feeding into the media circus. I don't think you need to say anything because Stephen A is not wrong. I don't think you need to say anything because when Josh Hart came out and said that Mikal Bridges is just doing what he's told to be doing what he's told, that was fine. Like, I didn't have nothing to say about this. This part, though, I don't think you need to tell him to shut up because as a Knicks fan, we know what's acceptable, what's not. We know what we're used to, what we're not used to. And we also know that that was probably the worst trade in the history for the Knicks ever. And then he's underperforming. Like, of course, we're going to be upset. And the person who's going to say something is someone whose job it is to say something. It just turns out that he's a Knicks fan. Like, it's his job to talk about this. So, I think Josh Hart is tripping. Mikal Bridges, I didn't even want to say his name the other day. So, I'm on SAS side. Big time.
How can I say this? I mean, I kind of get the frustration that where Josh Hart is coming from, because that is his teammate since college. But it's like, who are we to like say Stephen A. Smith is right about Mikal Bridges when his teammate, like Josh Hart is the one that sees him on a day-to-day basis, right? So it's like, Stephen A., you want us to believe you over the actual Knicks player who plays with said Knicks teammate that you're criticizing. Like, who am I supposed to believe in that situation? Now, am I saying Mikal Bridges is excused from the way he's been playing since the All-Star break? Absolutely not. But I do see where Josh Hart is coming from and calling out Stephen A. Smith as a part-time Knicks fan, because he do be wishy-washy with this shit. There was a long period of time where he didn't want nothing to do with the damn Knicks. Now all of a sudden they get good, and here he comes with the rah, rah, rah. And as soon as he sees the ship going downhill, he's back on that same bullshit he was 10 years ago.
I'm sure Habit's been that way. That's a Knicks fan thing.
What I was about to say.
Yeah,
it's not wishy-washy. No, it's not. No. We are diehard. We will always support the Knicks. But there is a limit.
Not him, though. He was talking all the time how he loves being in Miami and LA. It's more than he does New York.
Man,
it's not like that.
It's like so my mom and her boyfriend been together like 10 years, right? But like there's an understanding. So I'd be like, Mom, you with Crockett? You know, y'all still together? Nah, we ain't together this weekend. But we know they're getting back together, right? They'll be back by next week, that kind of thing. The same thing with the Knicks. There's an understanding. They might not fuck with each other today, but they'll definitely fuck with each other in a week or so.
You don't understand. Like there's a certain amount that we could take. And the time frame from, I want to say, maybe 2 years after Melo left to the year before they got Julius Randle, it was just hard. It was hard to even say I like the Knicks. So if anybody's going to talk shit about them, it's us. It's us. So I don't think he's wishy-washy. You call a spade a spade. The Knicks were buns, a disgrace to the fans. We stopped going to games, and that's when they started, wanting to put it to. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
And Ron and Kobe came to town. Y'all was seated.
All right. Whoa. We're not talking about. All right, but we weren't supporting the Knicks. But there was a time the fans was talking about going on strike. That's how bad they were. So I don't think he's wishy-washy. I think that's a Knicks fan for you. We're still watching the games. We still talking shit. I get it. I agree with Josh Hart. I'm not saying we should believe Stephen A. over Josh Hart, but take them away from it. I'm watching the games. It's buns. Mikal Bridges. I don't know why. And I don't care why. I don't know why, and I don't care why. It's unacceptable. So, like I said, it's someone's job to point that out, then they should point that out. Josh Hart, you have to realize that's someone's job. When has anyone liked what Stephen A. Smith has said? That's his job. For you to come out because you butthurt because that's your brother. You butthurt because that's your brother. You don't have nothing else to say when he's dogging everyone else. That's why. He butthurt because that's his brother. That's all.
I know Jason Whitlock damn sure ain't got nothing nice. That's how I know for damn sure he don't.
Yeah, so have you touched on this, and that gives me a great segue to the rest of the panel. And Aaron, Chris, do players have a point when they say that? Do players have a point in calling out media members who don't play the game that they are criticizing?
It's a good thing I played the game. Say
again.
It's a good thing I played the game.
Oh,
it's just yeah. Stephen A. It's just Stephen A. Smith. You got Big Perk, you got J. Will, you got a lot of people who play the game who would agree. They just don't care about the Knicks. He does. Stephen A. cares. That's all.
I mean, to answer your question, D, the playing the game thing for me is not a prerequisite.
Thank you.
All right. I don't think that should be a prerequisite. And I'm going to point out a friend. Tom Crean never played basketball. He never played. Didn't play high school. He's not a player. But he's an excellent coach. I mean, he's had a fabulous coaching career, and he was at Michigan State, spent time with him when I was there. He's been head coach at multiple places, Marquette, Indiana, Georgia. He's a self-made, fabulous coach. So media, I mean, it's journalism, right? You go to school for journalism and, you come out and hopefully, you land the opportunity. I don't think it's a caveat for that. I believe, and then going kind of with this back and forth with Stephen A., my take on it is this. Now, Knicks fans are tough, first of all. It's having a player in New York as a sports agent is wonderful or terrible at the same time, because you potentially can get fired at any time because the media is no joke and your players are always under an enormous amount of pressure. I don't believe players should fire back at the media. Do whatever you want to do, what makes you comfortable. But my opinion and my advice would be not to fire back because I believe it works in reverse. They're going to talk every day. You don't have the mic every day. So once you start talking and putting yourself out there, you're going to get people that's going to be crybaby, whatever, judging you in a way that let the take, when somebody's firing at you, let the take happen, and then it's going to end, and then it's old news. But when you respond, you keep the news alive. And so for me, I think players should just zip it, take it, grain of salt. Maybe you address the guy personally, whatever like that, but keep on moving.
Yeah, my only thing about this is, and I'm glad, Chris, you went in that direction, but essentially, I mean, that's the whole reason that entirely media is here, right? To bridge the gap between those that haven't played the game at the highest level, right? So media, and NBA or WNBA players that do so on a day-to-day basis, but to also do so with a sense of respect. I also think that certain members, that haven't played there, I still think they have a sense of knowledge and understanding that comes around the game to where they are able to voice their opinion. But I will say, to the credit of players, like there are other factors that go into being a professional athlete that media will not understand, and to that degree, yes, there has to be some leniency from the media when giving takes. But either way, I think we all have a right to be here. Fortunately, like Ev was saying, we all did play at least at a higher level, not the highest level. Unless did you?
Yes.
I mean, pro overseas, but
Overseas, yes,
not a
that's still
W.
no, that's still high level. So, so yeah, we there. I'm with it. Aaron,
Or
anything?
that 1%.
Exactly, 1,000%.
Yeah. Oh.
Cool.
Nah, that's all I got.
All right. In that case, then I will close this up. I mean, before we get out of here, I do want to say, though, in terms of the chat, man, you guys were amazing this morning. Like, you weren't just watching, you were adding to the conversation and pushing us and bringing in real takes. I mean, shit that, again, we didn't even have on the schedule today. So real questions, and that is exactly what it's supposed to be. That's how we're building this the right way and not just talking about basketball, but, we're all doing this together. So we appreciate everyone that tapped in this morning, stayed active, and really made today what it was. So make sure you like, subscribe, and keep rocking with us, and we'll be back Monday evening. Thanks again. Oh, shit, Chris, I put in the chat. Did you have no?